Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Tom Spark and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be reviewing Squarespace.com. Squarespace.com is a popular website builder, but it's also a web host. This is going to be the first in many web host reviews here on my channel, helping you guys find the best web host to use, whether you want to make your own business online like I have, or if you just want to make your own personal website for whatever reason. Now today I'm going to be looking at Squarespace with my new review system for web hosts. It's going to be called the webhosttierlist.com. And in fact, it's already live and you could check that out right now. The web host tier list uses a ranking system based on numbers, and I try to create it to what I think is the best web host and what you guys might want to use nowadays. As you can see here, the website's looking pretty fresh. Now, the review system itself is pretty simple. I wanted to keep it that way going forward so people can understand what's going on, and just to kind of keep things simple overall for the review system. I think with web host, a lot of them are pretty homogenous. You know, they offer the same features and stuff like that, and overall the same experience. You know, it's not like picking out a pair of shoes. You know, a web host at the end of the day is just going to be some remote data center hosting your website on the internet, and the minutia is really what you want to focus on that differentiates the web host providers. A couple key different things that I've nailed down in the tier list. So guys, with that in mind, let's go ahead and check out Squarespace, one of the first web hosts I want to talk about going forward here on the channel. So with Squarespace, actually, you know, how good is the pricing? And thankfully, they don't skimp out the things I'm really looking for in my review system. Number one, we want free SSL encryption included, and they include that. So check mark there. Not only that, but I'm looking for free WHOIS protection included as well, not a paid service add-on. A lot of web hosts get skimpy and make you pay for these things, which is really annoying since you don't want someone doxing you just because you have a website itself. So they do well there too. Next up, we want to look for things like a free domain, and Squarespace does provide a free domain with the first year, I do believe. So that's also something they have. Finally, the value proposition. It's kind of like a combination of all these things and what you're getting. And I do believe Squarespace gives you a good value proposition, including all these things, especially with the website builder and themes they give you included within, is a good value proposition. It's a little bit more expensive than the typical web host. But that said, would you include what they give you with it included, not only with some of those things like I mentioned, free SSL and all that, but if you were to buy all these themes for like WordPress, it would be a lot more expensive than what they're charging. Additionally, the core component of the builder itself that lets you build these websites is another thing you would have to pay on WordPress. You would need the theme and the website builder plugin and stuff like that. Not only that, but you need analytic plugins and all these kind of things. The price does add up, and that's pretty much all included with Squarespace within its main kind of package. Now, if we take a look at the pricing plans themselves, it's around $14 a month, and if you buy an annual package, it's a little bit cheaper. There's also the business, commerce, and advanced package. Honestly, the business package is probably the one to go to, especially if you're looking to add a little bit of custom code injection. I found one of my websites I purchased personal and then one for business. The business one, I was able to inject a little bit more code to customize it a little bit more if you're looking to buy some specific plugins. Now, it's not the same like with WordPress where you need a plugin for every single thing. You could get by without using any, but some plugins specifically are pretty cool that you can find and integrate super easily with Squarespace, which is one reason I recommend the business package. That said, for most basic use, the personal package is fine as well, and I have one website on personal and one on business. So guys, we've kind of gone over the pricing now, and the next section I want to talk about is the difficulty. How difficult is a web host to use? That's the question we're going to be answering, and with Squarespace, in my opinion, it's really one of the only web host providers that gets it perfect. That's because this is like the core meat of their product. They set out to make a company where anyone can make a website without any technical knowledge. This is extremely powerful, and it's kind of like the new generation of building a website and web hosting it on the end too. Now, like I said, I made this website within one day, and I don't know how to code or do anything like that, and I didn't hire anyone to make it for me. And how can I prove that to you? Well, let me show you how it works directly. That's the best way to showcase this, how powerful it is to use with a web builder experience and the backend as well. Now, the backend UI is something we're going to be looking at in these reviews too. And this is what I mean by that. You could see the analytics, which is very cool. I've actually got some visits already, surprising. I haven't even really showed anyone this website, which is kind of cool. Maybe a little bit around. But we have so many cool things here. Analytics built in. You could see the different keywords and stuff like that, as well as some metrics there. And you can even customize design elements like this. All sorts of things in the back end here that make it so easy to check out. You can even do scheduling and cool things like this. There's a lot of those cool business features in there. Profiles, you can manage your audience and emails and different things like that. So these kind of things are not included with WordPress for the most part. And it's really cool that they're so easily laid out there in the backend experience. But if we look at the web builder experience, this I think is where Squarespace shines. Not only that, but I'm using the brand new version of Squarespace. My old website doesn't have it yet because it just literally came out like 2 or 3 days ago and they're still rolling it out, I guess. But check this out. This is called the Fluid Engine, and this is, in my opinion, groundbreaking. You can just move anything around however you want to, and this is really cool. One reason I love this is because you could go to the mobile experience and move things around and make them fit like this. So initially it kind of had looked like this for some reason, and you can see it looks fine here, but for some reason on mobile it kind of was like this. So all I had to do was grab it and put it perfectly center. I didn't have to look inside the thing and center or anything like that. I just clicked and dragged, and that's what makes it so cool. This Fluid Engine is pretty much brand new to Squarespace and a game changer, I believe, in editing and making websites quickly and effectively. That's how I made this website so quickly with that Fluid Engine. It's pretty groundbreaking to me, and I absolutely love it. But even outside of the Fluid Engine, we could take a look at how easy it is to do customization. So look at this cool background I have. All it is a video that's a background, but not only that, I can even do cool things like lower and increase the opacity of the background. I could even increase the speed. That makes it look kind of cool. I could even do an inset there. So we have inset to look like this. It's more like inset within a thing. Full bleed is kind of like the more bigger experience. Not only that, but these filters are extremely powerful. Look at this. You can increase the contrast, opacity, like I said. You can make it sepia, saturated even more. Wow, that is bright. So there's just so many cool controls with like every aspect of this. And these things are so powerful. You can even add little art things like this if you wanted. Some of them look kind of, I'm not a huge fan of most of them, kind of funky. But some of them can kind of look kind of cool, especially this one. If you edit the colors to look something, wow, that one's cool. Maybe make the start color black, end color, maybe let's do custom here, and maybe make it more of kind of dark purple. See, that looks pretty cool, like that. Pretty cool how easily you could do that. You could even customize the motion, make it quicker, faster, and all this stuff is super easy to do, as you could see. Not only that, but you could add sections and blocks. The blocks, like I said, are pretty powerful. You could do all sorts of things, videos, audios, lines, all sorts of things, even reservation and events, and all sorts of things. One of my favorite thing about it is, this add section feature. Like I said, you could kind of add any kind of template you want whenever you want to. For people, an about page, calendar stuff, newsletter. Really, the sky is the limit. And I think you're beginning to see why this is the benchmark for the channel in terms of the web builder experience. Not only do they provide you good themes that are professional and look better than most other web hosting WordPress sites out there, but it's all included within. You don't have to pay anything extra. The web builder experience is incredibly powerful, making all these blocks, editing things so quickly, adding videos, changing the opacity. The customization learning curve is not even there. It's just, you could just go about it and use it. And even just within a couple hours, you're going to be making really good looking websites. So guys, with all that said, let's move into the flexibility section where we discuss our web host's flexibility. How good is it in terms of things like transferability, speed, innovative updates, and the plugin ecosystem? Well, Squarespace does a lot of things right. And with this core foundation of making pre-programmed templates that are customizable and stuff like that, they are going to lose a little bit in the transferability section. Now with transferability, what I mean is how easily can you migrate from Squarespace to a different web host provider and keep the stuff on there. But what we're looking to talk about is more the transferability of content. And Squarespace lists here what you can export and what you kind of can't. So with Squarespace, you can import content, comments, and images, where I'll attempt to preserve post URLs, but it's not really using like a file system like a traditional web host would and migrating files and stuff like that for more power users. So I'm not going to give it full points there, and that's just the reality of how the platform is designed. I think that's fair though. So transferability, I'm not going to give it super good points there, although you can transfer some things at a basic level, but it's not going to be like a traditional web host in that sense, just because the way Squarespace is designed around JavaScript and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff just won't migrate the way you want it to. So once you go on Squarespace, you're going to have to kind of rebuild your website somewhere else if you do want to rebuild it and move it. But in my opinion, once you move to Squarespace, you're going to be pretty happy and not want to go back to the other kind of experiences. Next up, we can talk about speed. And now speed is one critique I've seen of people who don't like Squarespace. Speed as a metric to say, you know, you shouldn't use these website builders because they're just not very fast. That said, I've found that Squarespace websites are still decently fast for what they are. They look really professional, and even if you have videos on them playing in the background like I do on my website, the website is still pretty fast. I've looked at some other reviewers who test web hosts and stuff like that to see how fast their websites load, and I'm not going to show them any in this video, but some of the other kind of competitors out there with websites that were around 1 minute. So my website takes half a second longer to load, but for how good it looks and the cool videos I have playing, which certainly slow it down a little bit, I do think it's not a bad speed. For example, this page right here takes 1.4 seconds, but this page only takes 1.2 seconds. So that's actually not too bad at all. And I still have a video on here going back to YouTube. The other categories we want to talk about are innovative updates in the plugin ecosystem. Like I showed you guys with the Fluid Engine system, Squarespace has some really powerful updates. That said, there are some things that Squarespace still hasn't added over the years that frustrate some people. Well, thankfully, if you really need something, you can usually find some kind of plugin for it. There is a plugin ecosystem. That said, it's not quite as big as something with WordPress. But WordPress overall has so many different plugins, and half of them don't work how you would expect them to. So Squarespace, while there might be fewer plugins, a lot of them do work pretty well. It's just not quite as robust and active of an ecosystem, I would say. But honestly, the plugins that I've played around with work pretty well. So it's kind of a pro and a con in that sense. There might be less broke plugins, but the ones that are there work better. Whereas WordPress might have way more plugins and options, but a lot of them don't work well at all. So guys, now that we've covered most of the things, what is my final consensus with Squarespace? Remaining as objective as possible, even though both my websites are built on it. If that's not a way to show I like it, I don't know what is. I could personally vouch for it and say I've used it and tested it extensively. In terms of the price, I have no complaints. It includes free SSL protection, free WHOIS protection, it gives you a free domain, and the value is very good for what you get. It includes good themes that are very professional, as an extremely good web builder experience, probably better than any other out there in my opinion. No matter, even if you're buying a web builder for WordPress, this still is better and supported better. The customization learning curve is barely there. Anyone can use it. The backend UI with stuff like analytics and stuff is extremely powerful, even with stuff like calendar integration and other things to kind of cement the foundation of your business if you're making a website for that. In terms of flexibility, this is where Squarespace is going to lose some points. It's not very transferable once you get on it. The speed maybe isn't quite as fast as some WordPress websites or custom-built websites with other web hosts. But it does make up for it in the fact that some of the updates for Squarespace are extremely powerful. Look at that Fluid Engine and other websites and updates that Squarespace has done, and they are innovating and doing really cool updates, I think, with the platform. Lastly, the plugin ecosystem, I'm going to give it a half point here just because it doesn't have quite as many plugins, but the plugins that are there are actually pretty good and give you some good power and control over your Squarespace experience. Overall, I'm going to give Squarespace a 10 out of 12. This is going to make it a tier 1 web host. And if you guys want to help support the channel, you could click on the link in the description and pin comment. So guys, in conclusion, should you buy Squarespace? Well, for the basic person who wants to create a website or a business and doesn't know anything about coding or anything like that, and just wants a very good value proposition that's extremely powerful, I think Squarespace is one of the best choices out there. However, if you're someone who is more familiar with web hosting, is more comfortable learning code, doesn't mind using WordPress, and wants a little bit more speed and perhaps better flexibility with the backend in terms of file management, and you want more of a diverse plugin environment, and you're not afraid to kind of be a power user per se, then maybe consider something like DreamHost. DreamHost is also a very good web host provider that I will be recommending to you guys. It fulfills some of the same pricing requirements. It just doesn't have that experience that Squarespace has when helping you make a website. So whether you go for Squarespace from watching this review, or you might want to check out the DreamHost review here on the channel if Squarespace didn't seem quite the right fit for you. I think it's going to be the benchmark going forward on this channel in terms of the web host reviews. It's just such a good experience that I've had with it, and I think you guys will enjoy it too. So stay tuned on the channel. For more web host reviews.